everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So, working at the top of the horizontal pass today, which is where I figured I would be when I called it quits last session. Yeah, not totally following my normal diagonal, kind of made a C shape just because I've been following the colors, so yeah. That's why. So I'm stitching these. I messed up earlier and had to frog some, so that's why they're already colored in. I don't feel like deleting them and then recoloring them, so yeah. So I didn't start exactly at 0. I'm 8 stitches in to begin with, but close enough, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's actually been not too bad here. Temperatures hovering around freezing, which for us is not that cold. As long as I got my mittens and my earmuffs and such, I will go for my walk outside. And it's not icy yet. I think I parked this wrong. Yeah, I parked that 3 from that bottom grid line, and it should have been 4. That's okay. Easy to fix. Yeah, this is, like I said, why I work with a grid, because when I do mess up, and I will, it makes it much easier for me to figure out what I did wrong. Yeah, so it's kind of awesome. My sister posted pictures of her husband and son dressed as Ghostbusters for Halloween, and it was funny because that's exactly what my husband did too. At work, they were one of the sponsors at a trunk and treat, and they did a Ghostbusters theme, so yeah, they had fun. They had a little haunted house with a little projector that showed a ghost floating around inside, and yeah, it was lots of fun. And he had the proton pack and everything. He said, man, it was heavy. It was like 25 pounds, which, you know, isn't a ton, but if you're going to be wearing it for hours, it, you know, you start to feel it after a while. But yeah. Well, they went with that theme because one of his coworkers is a huge Ghostbusters fan, and he had like an actual proton pack he bought that someone had made that like actually got all the details correct, and you could take the pieces out and everything. Like, it's not a cheap, you know, costume prop. It's actually something somebody hand built and put a lot of work into. So yeah, so that's why they went with that. The year before they did Farmer, and yeah, so they all wore jeans and flannel shirts and straw hats, and they actually had some goats there, which the kids loved. So they were really friendly little goats, so you could pet them. Oh, there was one trunk and treat they did. They were Shrek and Fiona, and they had a real donkey. So again, that was a big hit with the kids. Yeah, they could pet the donkey. Yeah, and they went in like not just a cheap costume, like the guy actually had like green body paint on his face and everything. The, you know, fluorescent green of Shrek. So yeah, lots of fun. Oh, my son waited until like the day before Halloween to be like, Mom, can we go to the Halloween store? I'm like, oh, come on. I've been telling him for a couple of weeks, you know, think about what you want to be for Halloween. And so that we can, you know, plan ahead. And he kept, yeah, think about it. And I figured by the end, I asked him, you know, 2 or 3 days before, and he just kind of waved me off. I figured he decided he either didn't want to dress up, or maybe he was just going to go in one of his little onesie pajamas, because he's done that before, right? It's nice and comfortable, and they're special. He was Yoshi last year. Those are his favorite jammies. We got those for him years ago. And yeah, they wear like iron because he wears them a lot, and they still haven't worn through at the knees or anything. So, but yeah, so at the last minute, he says, I was like, oh, dude, that's why I was asking you ahead of time, you know, so we could plan. I said, because now we'll go to the Halloween store. It's going to be all picked over, right? And fortunately, he was able to find a costume, so he went as a Dalmatian, which was almost like another onesie, basically. Yeah. He even had a little dog tag collar that's shaped like a bone. Yeah, like an actual metal one, not just some cheap piece of cloth, so it's pretty cute, yeah. But yeah, I posted the picture, people, oh wow, that looks really cozy. Yeah, one year he went as Mario riding on Yoshi, like from the N64 game. Yeah, and it was, the Yoshi was an inflatable. So yeah, that was fun. He went as Luigi one year. And it was funny because one of his friends went as Mario, and they didn't even plan it because they were like 11. And yeah, they both showed up for their same group dressed as Mario and Luigi, so it was perfect, yeah. And it was funny because I had people say like, oh, you know, oh, look at that. I tell you, I cannot count today. Yeah, I missed these stitches right here. Oh, my gosh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, silly me. Anyway, so I had people ask, like, you know, oh, did they run out of Mario costumes? I said, no, he wanted to be Luigi because green's his favorite color. Because, yeah, like I said, nobody wants to be Luigi, but no, my kid actually did. So it was easy to find him a costume because the Mario costumes were always gone. And, yeah, there were plenty of Luigi costumes left, so, yeah. It was funny, it even came with a little belly pillow to give him a round tummy. I said, oh, I never even noticed that in the cartoon. He's got a belly. So, yeah. And it came with a little mustache, but for school all day, I just took a eyeliner pencil and drew one on him because, yeah, the one that came with the costume was pretty itchy and uncomfortable. So he only wore that when he actually went trick-or-treating. So this year he didn't do trick-or-treating. We kind of stopped around 2020 as when he hit high school, and yeah. So this year actually I don't know if I mentioned it last session, but yeah, he went in the food drive for a part of his school service hours. So yeah. So now he's done for the year. Yay! Yeah, they have to do 10 per year, and they have to have 7 done by December 1st, but he's done. So yeah, it's good because previous years we've kind of had to scramble around, you know, May or June to get them done. And you don't really want to be doing that when you're preparing for final exams either, right? So, yeah. But yeah, he's doing really well with that because we've been, you know, trying to teach him to, you know, don't procrastinate and leave stuff till the last minute, you know. And yeah, he found the whole volunteer for the food drive thing himself and signed up for it. So yeah, it worked great. My husband went along as one of the drivers for the kids. And so yeah, it turned out good. I stayed home, although I didn't hand out candy. I just put it on the doorstep in a bowl because, yeah, I've gotten lazy. It's a hassle to keep opening the door all the time, so yeah. I put it on there, and people are on the honor system, and if they take more than one piece, whatever. I figure it's worth it for not having to have the hassle of constantly answering the door. But actually, people are pretty good. We've never had anyone help themselves to the whole bowl or anything like that. Yeah. And we generally don't get a lot of kids, so yeah. We had one year we had a ton, but that was it. Almost every year, kids will do the other side of the street, and they won't bother crossing over to our side. Well, I mean, to be fair, the people across the street do have the better Halloween displays. We don't really decorate. We just put a pumpkin out, so yeah. Generally, the people with the really good displays have the best candy, right? They're the ones who give out full bags of chips or the full-size candy bars instead of just, you know, the little treat-size ones, so yeah. We had plenty of candy left over from our 2 boxes, which we divided up between us, so yeah, we're good. Okay, I'm gonna see. That's fairly long at the top there. Yeah, I kind of got threads running all over the place here. So I'm just gonna park this one here for now. I'm going to check. I got 3 of these in this area. Okay, this one is not very long. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'm thinking this one's only going to be good for a few stitches. So, planning ahead here, what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to stitch sort of meeting in the middle, the threads going in opposite directions, so I can use everything up efficiently. But yeah, here's wool. Here, the wool tends to end up with this yellow and pink kind of almost stripes forming. And then we'll get into flowers and vines again as we get closer to the edge. And yeah, I'm trying to fill in this whole pass by the end of the month. 25% will have that filled in, plus a little bit started of the next pass, so we'll see how we do on that. Kiddo drove away with his block heater cord plugged in again. Goofball. So I've been bugging him saying, you know, before you start up your truck to heat it up, unplug it. Because it's not going to make that much difference to the block heater, but then that way he can't possibly drive away with it plugged in. Yeah. Because I don't want to have to run out there to remind you every morning. Yeah. It's like, it's getting where I was having to bug him to get out of bed and stuff, but I said, well, you know, you're old enough to drive now, so you're old enough to get yourself to school on time. Keep an eye on the clock, and I'm not going to bug you. And I figured he might be late a couple times before he learned, but actually he's done well. So he cuts it closer than I would. Yeah, but he has made it on time every day, so that works. Less stress for me, because yeah, I don't like having to bug people to get going, right? That's no fun. Yeah, I'm going to be skipping a little bit here. Just sort of the way this is. I don't want to add another thread, so I will be doing a little bit out of order here. Just because of the way these threads cross past each other, so... Yeah, so son's phone got broken, fell out of his pocket, and wasn't just a cracked screen, like the actual phone got broken, so yeah, it was a replace it kind of deal. And yeah, we took it to one of those places where they, you know, they got a new phone and they were supposed to transfer all the data, but the guy didn't really know what he was doing. Like my husband said, he saw him Googling how to do stuff, but he figured, like, this is his job, he must know what he's doing, right? So anyway, it took hours because the phone was fairly damaged, and it took quite a while to do that. So anyway, when we got the phone, a bunch of stuff hadn't transferred over, and when he tried sending a text, it went to the old phone, and yeah, it was just not good. So in the end, because the place was closed, and anyway, they hadn't done a good job in the beginning, so my husband went, forget it. He does lots of technical, like he's an engineer, but he also does a lot of IT stuff for work, so he took it himself. We had the old phone still, so he blew out the new phone, rebuilt it completely from scratch, and then everything came through. So yeah, my husband said, it's funny, like, this isn't technically my job, but I did better than the person whose job it actually is. Yeah. He said, I guess a person manning the kiosk there, they're fine to actually, like, sell phones and, like, change batteries or replace screens, but, like, the tech stuff, yeah. I said, yeah, a lot of times they don't really train you very well, and they just kind of throw you in and basically expect you to learn on the job. Yeah. And some people take to that really well, and some people not so much. Yeah. So, yes, I'm going to fill in here the skipped one. So yeah, I usually try not to close in completely. As you can see, this one is completely surrounded by other stitches in it. I find it can be harder to get your needle up there without piercing the other threads and threads getting hooked around each other in a weird way. Harder to keep it neat, but sometimes it's just, yeah, it's more hassle than it's worth to avoid doing that, so I don't. Okay. All right, yeah, so this one, yes, I remember. So I'm going to start from the top here first, and I'm going to use this one till it runs out, and then I'm going to bring the other one up to meet it, and the other one I'll travel downwards with it. Yeah, there's so much of this color in this area that we will be using all of the threads, no problem. I'll probably be having to add more soon. Yeah, there's quite a few stripes as we head out towards the right. Yeah, any snow we had melted again, so, well, I find the first few snowfalls don't really stick. Yeah. Usually isn't until around December that we end up with snow that sticks long term. And even then, sometimes we will have a thaw in the middle of the winter and have the streets almost bare before it snows again. Sometimes not. It really depends. Yeah, a lot of times the only snow that will be left is sort of the big piles where they plowed it, because of course, yeah, those take a long time to melt when they're all layers and layers like that in a big pile, especially when they get covered with dirt and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. Historically, in fact, they said that's what they used to do with ice houses in the old days before they had, you know, refrigerators, is they would cut blocks of ice off the lake in the winter and store them in an ice house and cover it with straw to help keep them from melting longer. Yeah, probably not the most hygienic, I guess, because, I mean, they didn't have plastic back then, right? Yeah, that's how they did it. Yeah, we're spoiled now, right? You can just make ice with electricity. Yeah, it was funny. Somebody had a picture. They said, I left my coffee in my car last night. You still want to move to Canada? And it showed the coffee and it like had completely frozen and they had to like peel the cup off it. Somebody's like, oh, so you're saying if I go to Canada, then I don't need to pay for a refrigerator? But yeah, when we first moved out here, because we lived in the lower mainland of BC. It's warmer there because it's kind of inside the curve of the Rockies. And so the warm jet stream off the ocean gets kind of caught against the mountains there, and it keeps that warm air there, and then sort of the stuff past the Rockies is where it gets cold and icy. And so yeah, we weren't used to things freezing in the car. And yeah, when we first moved here, I would keep forgetting water bottles in there, and then they would end up, when they freeze, they'd all pull in. It would make almost like this triangle shape from them, yeah, contracting from the cold. And my in-laws made the mistake. They came to visit us and they left stuff in the car. They left shampoo in the car. Yeah, and it froze and separated and didn't want to recombine nicely. And yeah, we had to remind them whenever they came to visit us, you know, take anything that can freeze out of the car because it will freeze. Although I suppose not as bad as, I remember there were people saying they had to be careful with hand sanitizer if you live where it's really hot, because it could actually catch fire because it's got a high alcohol content, so, you know, it's flammable. And yeah, if it heats up in your, especially if, like, say you have it on the dashboard, right, and it heats up from the sun coming in through the windshield, yeah, not so good. Yeah, as much as I complain about the cold, I would not want to live where it's super hot. Yeah, I know I have people who are the opposite, but yeah, I'm like, if it's cold, I can put on another sweater or a blanket or something. But yeah, when it's hot, I mean, you can only take off so many layers, right? Ugh. Yeah, it was funny because my husband said one time I can't remember what it was for, but he was staying with a family down in like Arizona, and he was just dying because, yeah, he was not used to that kind of heat. And so at night he went down into the basement and slept on the concrete floor with just, like a sleeping mat. And his hosts were so concerned, like, you're gonna get pneumonia, you're gonna freeze. He's like, no, this is the only way I can get cool enough to sleep, Because, yeah, for them, when we approach the temperature that's comfortable for us, they start putting on sweaters and things. Okie doke. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might be at 23% by next session, because that'll be a few days from now. So, yeah. If not, I'll probably be pretty close. And then, yeah, 2% more is over 6,000 more stitches, so we'll see what I manage. Yeah, love hitting those big milestones of 25%, 50%. Yeah. Okay. So, just trying to decide what length of a piece I want to use up here. I've got quite a few leftover sort of medium length bits, so I may use up several rather than starting a long piece. Yeah, seeing having to think about Christmas, I'm not sure what I'm even going to buy for myself this year. We just do a budget. We don't try to surprise each other anymore. Well, we found we just end up with stuff that it's nice, but you didn't really want, and I don't want clutter. Not since I decluttered my house, yeah. I want to buy stuff that I only actually am going to use, so. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of work my way up and down along this longer edge here. Yeah, let's see. How long is this thread? Somewhat. Okay. Just deciding which threads I want to travel where, depending on how long they are. Yeah, we're going faster than last time because of the way this is like stripes. You can do more stitches of the same color in a row before before you got to change again, which is a lot faster than having to change colors every couple of stitches. Yeah. Yeah, so again, because I kind of followed the shape of the color here, we end up with some being more closed in, but I don't worry about that. Like I often say, my way of stitching is just guidelines and just as necessary. Whatever works for you. Yeah, maybe I'll buy myself another floor stand and then I don't have to swap my projects out. I can just swap stands. I could have one in each stand. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. But for now, yeah, not bothering. Yeah, there was one stand that I saw someone had, and I looked it up and it was like over $1,000 bucks. Like, ooh, holy cow. Yeah, I am too cheap to spend that much. Yeah, my stand is just the Michaels brand, and I got it for half off because I had a coupon. So yeah, it ain't perfect, but I mean, for the price, I think I got my money's worth. It does the job. But yeah, I wouldn't mind, like I said, a spring-loaded clamp so that you could just sort of pop it open and, you know, with the press of a handle or something. But it doesn't seem to be a thing. They all seem to be ones that you have to tighten wing nuts and things. Okay, I did that one as well since it is along the edge. Oh, I almost went to the wrong square. Yeah, that would have been not good. Almost went to the big square above instead of where I actually want to be working, but when I grabbed the thread I realized, wait a minute, that is not the right color. Okay. Either way, we're going to be stopping and starting a little bit with the colors here. Yeah, I'll have less than 1,000 stitches to reach 23%, and I have a few days to do that. think that's probably doable before next session. We'll see. These two, yeah, that's all I'm gonna get out of that one there. Yeah, one of my friends for Halloween actually did a purple rinse in his hair and wore a Starfleet uniform. So channeling a Boimler from Lower Decks. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I'm really enjoying that show. There's some people who aren't liking it because they said it's so silly, but that's a nice change of pace. I like serious Trek and I like silly Trek, so. And I love, they put references to other series all the time, which is really fun if you're an avid Trek fan. Like, our son watches Lower Decks with us, but it's like pulling teeth to get him to watch anything else. So we don't bug him. But so I said, but you know, you'd appreciate Lower Decks more if you watched other Treks, especially the 90s Treks, because yeah, they make lots of inside jokes that you will only get if you've seen them. Yeah, my only complaint is the seasons aren't long enough. You know, they're only like 10 episodes in that. It's just, yeah. It always feels like it just started and then it's ending. Yeah. Yeah, and people say that, oh, they prefer it with no filler episodes. I'm like, but sometimes the stuff that they used as a filler episode ends up being some of the best stuff. Yeah. So, because often those are the character-driven episodes rather than the ones that you know, have lots of special effects and stuff and action. And yeah, I am a sucker for character-driven stories, that is for sure. Oh yeah, so I see here we've got wall here, and then there's another leaf starting to appear to the right of this bit here. Yeah, and then it's gonna continue on into some more flowers as we head towards that right-hand edge. No, yeah, tons of this color. We're gonna have lots of threads. Yeah, it was weird the other day. Last video that I uploaded, for some reason, YouTube was really slow and it took almost 10 hours. I honestly thought it got stuck because usually it only takes about 20 minutes for one to load. And it wasn't like it was an unusually long video or anything different from what I normally do. So yeah, but I've been seeing posts from some other creators who are having similar problems. Yeah, where they expect it. And like my internet connection was working just fine. So yeah, it was nuts. But yeah, I started uploading at like 3:30 in the afternoon. And I had to let it run overnight. Because yeah, even I went to bed at 10, it was still not done. It was like around 60, 70% or something. And yeah, it's just wild. And my husband said, you know, hopefully your computer doesn't crash. I said, oh no, don't say that. Don't jinx me. But yeah, thankfully it didn't. So when I got up the next morning, it was done. So yeah, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen again because yeah, that was a real pain. Because yeah, once I upload it, I want to have time to go through and correct my captions because the automatic only gets them about 75% right. Yeah. Some of them are laughably wrong. It'll take me a bit to figure out what I actually said because what it writes down sometimes is not even close. Yeah, or sometimes it'll have the complete opposite meaning. You say can and it captions it as can't. Yeah. Which of course, yeah, the meanings are opposite there, so. Or I find for some reason, it will not usually put percent in. I will say percent, but it won't even put the word percent or the percent sign. It just skips it entirely, which is strange. Sometimes it does, about 10% of the time, but 90% of the time, for some reason, that word just doesn't register. So yeah, I have no idea. Or lately I've been finding with the captions, they will put the very last word in the sentence in its own caption box and have that drag out for like a minute. It's like, okay, I wasn't saying the last word of the sentence for a minute. So yeah, it's definitely something that has to be fixed. I generally delete that caption box, put that last word in with the rest of the sentence. Yeah. Because where it actually makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's still better than having to do it entirely from scratch because that is a pain. That takes hours and hours, but yeah, it is odd. It didn't used to do that either, which is what I find really odd about it, and now it does it all the time, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe they updated their captioning program and it had an unforeseen side effect, because that can happen, right? Yeah. Sometimes when they update apps to make them better, they end up breaking other things that were working before. Yeah, I had a game on my phone that for a week you couldn't play because it would say that you had reached the end of the levels and that you needed to update to get more levels. And so when you tap on the update, it would take you to the App Store and it would say it was updated. So then you'd go back to the game and it would just say the same thing and just put you in this endless loop of taking you back to the App Store to update when it was already updated. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of irritating. And I'm thinking, I mean, they must have lost money on that because if people aren't playing, people are not buying power-ups, people are not viewing ads, they can't play at all, you're not going to make anything. But it took them like a week to fix it, so yeah. And they actually gave everybody some free power-ups, I guess, as an apology. But yeah. Yeah, it was pretty frustrating because, yeah, I kept saying update, and I'm like, but it is updated. I even tried, you know, I have it linked to my Facebook account so I wouldn't lose, you know, my coins and stuff. But I tried uninstalling it and reinstalling it to see if that would fix it. But no, it was just stuck in a loop like that. So These are long, skinny runs of color here. But this means I can do like a dozen stitches in a row of the same color, so it does stitch up a little faster, which is nice. Yeah, it's gotten cool enough that those neighbors with the noisy dogs have brought them inside, so it's been blissfully quiet. Yeah. Like I said, I understand dogs are going to bark, but when it goes on for hours, yeah, it just shreds my nerves. I feel bad for the dogs because honestly, I've never seen them out walking them either. I mean, maybe that's why they bark a lot. Maybe they're bored. Because, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, that's why I don't own a dog. I'm too lazy. Yeah. I like them, but, yeah. I do not feel like putting in the work. I'm raising a kid. That's enough work. Especially because now that he's at the age he's at, you know, they're getting more self-sufficient at this age. Yeah, it's not like when they were little and they need you constantly. They can't even wipe their nose, right? Yeah. I mean, it's lovely when they're little and you can cuddle them and pick them up. But yeah, I mean, they do need you all the time. It can be exhausting. Yeah, so that's why parents enjoy being grandparents so much, I guess, right? You get all the fun of the cuddles and the playing with them and they were little and reminding you of when your own kid was little and you don't have to put in the sleepless nights. Yeah. And stuff. You get to do the fun stuff. Yeah. Because, yeah, I have a relative who had a baby a couple of months ago and was messaging me like, how long does it take them to sleep through the night and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, you know, the first couple of months it's like boot camp. You're just surviving it, but it will get better. I know it feels like it never will, but I promise it will. And yeah, unfortunately, we live very, very far away, so I can't come and lend her a hand, you know, let her have a day to sleep or something. Yeah, it was really cute. She sent me a picture on Halloween. She had her dressed in a little bat. So it was like a costume. It was a onesie, and it had little bat wings between the arms and the body. It was just adorable. Yeah. She's only like 6 weeks old or something. Yeah, so cute. I knew she was going to dress her up the first Halloween because Halloween is her favorite holiday. So yeah, she was so cute. Because yeah, my son's first Halloween, we didn't really do anything because he was only a few months old and I was lazy. So, but the next year when he was walking, yeah, he had a little bug costume, which I said was pretty cute because his nickname is Bug, so we dressed Bug as a bug. It was funny because I didn't go to the store intending to buy a bug costume. I just went to see what would fit, and then when I found it, I was like, okay, well, this has obviously got to be it. I still have his little bug costume. Yeah, I got rid of so many, you know, most of his baby clothes and stuff. But I hung on to that because I said, if you have kids, then I'm going to give this to you because I would love to see another kid dressed as a bug. Yeah, it had a little hood on it with antennae and everything. And extra feet hanging off the front, which he liked to play with. Yeah. Yeah, and then we had one of my husband's co-workers. He had a kid about 3 years old or so. It was perfect. They gave us all the kids his costumes that he'd outgrown, so that was really nice. Yeah. We didn't have to buy them ourselves. So he went as a turtle. 1 year, he was Spider-Man. Another year, yeah. Yeah, his Spider-Man costume had padding in it with the muscles. So it's funny because I think that was for kindergarten. And there was another kid who was dressed as Spider-Man, but his didn't have the muscles. So yeah, they were calling my son Strong Spider-Man and the other kid regular Spider-Man. So yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, it was funny because I remember when the live action movies came out, early 2000s with Tobey Maguire, and there was some behind the scenes stuff, and they were talking with Stan Lee, who created the character. And he said, yeah, at the time, they didn't do a very big print run because they didn't expect it to be popular. Because yeah, he said his bosses were like, Stan, what are you thinking? People hate spiders, right? They're gonna find it gross. They're not gonna want a hero who's a Spider-Man. And so yeah, they did a shorter run because they didn't expect it. And of course, it became one of their most popular characters ever. So yeah, so now those original run are quite valuable now because, I mean, the first run always is, but especially because there's fewer of them because they didn't expect it to actually sell well. Yeah. Yeah, well, I have a phobia about spiders, but come on. That's different from actual Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's cool. Yeah, it was funny. I saw a meme somebody had, and they said the most unbelievable part about these superhero things is that these kids are able to make their own costumes. Like it said, come on, having superhero powers doesn't mean you can sew with stretch knits. Because yeah, they got a point, because I've tried to do that and it is not easy. Yeah. Sewing with a cotton or a cotton polyester blend is totally different from, yeah, sewing with a lycra kind of bodysuit thing. Yeah. It's a much more advanced skill. Yeah, so I have a what you might call it, original series costume. I have a couple of them, but I didn't dress up this year. I was lazy. Okay, so I'm gonna add another. Like I said, there's tons of this color, so we're gonna have no problems using it all up. Yeah, this is one of the newer colors, although we say new colors, but actually they've been out for a few years now. There's ones that are lower than 100. Oh, jeez. Oh, darn it. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Yeah. I wasn't expecting a delivery today, but I forgot that, yeah, I had ordered some Amazon stuff, so it showed up. Yeah, my son likes this fake Nutella stuff for his sandwiches, and none of the stores around here stock it anymore. Yeah, it was his favorite, and I guess it doesn't sell well enough or something, or maybe it's been discontinued, I don't know. But yeah, can't find it anywhere, so I finally found it on Amazon. It was the only place I could find it, so it's a different brand, so we'll see. I did warn him. We'll see if he still likes it. If not, I guess we're gonna have to find something else for his sandwich. But yeah, that's what he's been eating for a while, because his schools are nut-free, so he loves Nutella, but can't take it because it's hazelnuts, so. Yeah, I wasn't sure the high school was still gonna do that. I understand at the elementary school level, you know, kids can't always be trusted to understand how serious an allergy is. But, yeah, and we tried the Wow butter, which is the sunflower oil butter that's similar to peanut butter, but isn't peanut butter. It's not considered as big an allergen as peanuts are, so they're allowed to take it to school. We tried that, but he didn't really like it, so, which is fair. Yeah, I can be really picky about my brands of food too. Like, generally, no name is fine, but there's a few things that I will not. Like ketchup, it has to be Heinz. I can tell the difference. So sometimes we'll go to a restaurant where they have the ketchup jars and they say Heinz on it, and I'll try it. I'm like, yeah, they refilled this with some knockoff ketchup because it's not right. Yeah, I'm pretty sensitive with most of my senses. I remember we had a friend who had a knockoff perfume, and she had the real one and the knockoff one, and everyone's like, oh, it smells the same. And I'm like, no, they're different. And people are like, no, they aren't. I'm like, no, this fake one, it's sweeter smelling. And they couldn't tell, and they didn't believe me till I did a blindfold test, and I did it correctly, like, you know, 8 times in a row. And then they realized that, yeah, I couldn't tell if I just smelled one of them, which it was, but if I smelled one and then the other, I could tell you which one was the fake. Yeah. Yeah, my sister-in-law is similar. My husband said one time his mom had some milk that had gone a bit sour, but like it wasn't bad, and so she tried to use it like buttermilk kind of thing, right, in like biscuits or casserole or something, and they said she could tell, and she wouldn't eat it. She was like 3 or 4, but she'd take, you know, they had a casserole and it would have maybe a 1/4 cup in the whole casserole, and she'd take one bite and say, this is the yucky milk, and she wouldn't eat it. Yeah. Yeah, and like nobody else could tell, but she could tell. And oh, she didn't like, she had this thing, she hated sesame seeds. They grossed her out so much. And so my husband said he remembered they had hamburgers, and she sat there for an hour picking every last seed off the bun before she would eat it. Like everybody else was done eating, you know, like an hour ago. And yeah, she was still there, just painstakingly picking every single seed off the bun. Yeah, and my husband and his brother, they loved sesame snaps. And she was just all horrified. How can you eat that? It's all seeds. Yeah. She was just so grossed out by it. Yeah, we weren't allowed a lot of sweets when I was a kid, but that was one of the sweets we were allowed because it's honey and sesame seeds, so it was healthy, right? So yeah, that was one of those. That, and we were allowed to eat fruit leathers. Yeah. Yeah, I got annoyed though. Years ago, they changed the packaging on the fruit leathers to make them supposedly easier to open, but instead the easy open tab would just rip right through the thing and not pull the pieces of the wrapper open. So then you'd have to like pick it apart with your fingernails and get all sticky, and yeah. And I said I actually stopped eating it because they ruined the package design, and I didn't like getting sticky fingers. Because yeah, it used to be you just sort of pulled them open like a chip bag and sort of peeled it down and ate it from there. And if you did it right, you wouldn't get your hands all sticky. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't mind it that much if I can wash my hands. But I mean, yeah, sometimes if you're out and about and you're eating a snack, there's nowhere to wash your hands, right? And I hate having sticky paws. So... yeah, well, it was a case of, like I say, if it ain't broke, the old packaging worked just fine. It wasn't broken, so why'd you guys have to try and fix it? Yeah. Yeah, I would say everything that purports to be easy open never is, right? Yeah, we have these packages of pepperonis that have supposedly an easy open corner, and it is so fiddly to try to grab that corner and separate the 2 layers. And then, yeah, half the time I'm like, I end up just getting too frustrated and just cutting the corner off entirely, cutting the package open, because yeah, it's such a pain. I am not known for my patience. So yeah, the wall continues here, and then there's going to be more vines and flowers in this area here. So like I said, there's some doing stitches out of order here a little bit, but that's all right. I still try to grow out from what is currently there as much as I can. Look at that, past 200, nice. That is definitely, I sure wish I could always do that many stitches in an hour. I'd be able to stitch everything I want to in a lifetime. Yeah, I'll have more time to stitch today too, because my husband and son are going to radio course again tonight. Yeah, it's the advanced class now. My husband is teaching again. So, yeah. Yeah, my husband actually had it set up now that with the high school, the kids can now take it for credit, which is pretty cool. I could take it for school credit, plus they'll have a new skill by the end, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how it's some technologies, you know, they change and die out, and then some of them just persist. Like ham radio has been around for a long time, and they have to learn Morse code as well as part of it. And like, yeah, Morse code has been around forever, right? And yeah, so simple, and yet it's still effective. Fuzzies there. Doesn't feel right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there was an extra bit of a loop there. If I didn't pull it taut, it might end up with a loose stitch later, which I do not want. Okay. Okay, so may just, yeah, stitch in two directions. So I'll stitch up and back down and then carry on downward. Oh, there we go again. There we go. So yeah, sometimes I cross as I go and sometimes I don't. Just depends where I want my thread to be when the stitches are completed. Oh, right, yes, so I ended up with 2 threads of this close to each other, but that's okay. Oh yeah, because this one is short, which is what I thought. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a break once I finish these stitches I've highlighted, as I can feel one of my legs is starting to fall asleep from sitting in the same position for too long. So yeah, it'll be time to get up and walk that off. That'll be over 250 stitches. I started at 8 done, but still that's pretty good for one session. Yeah, quite happy with that progress. So yeah, 257. So since I started at like 8 done, we pretty much almost did 250 in this session, which, yeah, definitely happy with that. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here again next time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.